my mic. It should be working. If it doesn't, I'm gonna cry. Hopefully this isn't too long. Okay. I did this as a full-on presentation for you guys. Well, not really for you guys, for my mind, because my mind is a bit... Yeah, okay. Does this remind you of online class? I hope not. I would be that boring teacher, wouldn't I? Yeah. Phillip's diary and other theories. What the actual fuck is up with that? Okay. Quick disclaimer. I don't know shit. And I'm not one of them, like, proper theorists. I just have, like, thoughts and evidence that I collect. I could be wrong. And most of my theories are from, like, a writing point of view, and not from, like, a theorist point of view, if you know what I mean, because I write stuff sometimes. Don't take my word for anything. Everything that's wrong is probably embarrassingly wrong, so don't bully me for that. Cool, thanks. I also wrote the slides as I would talk them, because I wasn't expecting to speak over them, but now I'm speaking over them, so, you know. Okay, we're going to start simple. We're going to lay down the facts, and by that we're just going to go through the diary. So, Phillip is the diary guy. You probably know that. He's another human on the Isles, and he was first mentioned by Gwen in Keeping Up with Appearances, an episode later through the Looking Glass Ruins, which is a class episode. We were introduced to him. His name was Phillip Witterbane, a human who miraculously came into the human realm, supposedly by Titan's blood, creating links between the two worlds. He said his journey through the demon realm was far from over. And he thought the date was May 21st, so, you know. He believed, and I quote, like, why did I say and I quote and then not decide to quote? But, the more he could learn about the human realm was the more certain he was about harnessing the powers to return home. Which is cool, I guess. Not really. The diary. I keep thinking I spelt it dairy. Anyway, KOHD, knocking on Hootie's door, because I wasn't going to put KKK next to each other. The next insight we get about the diary is like 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3. No, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 3. I can't count, can't do maths. Only got a 5 in maths, don't worry. 3 episodes later in Knocking on Hootie's Door, where at the end of the episode we get a brief flashes of the door and its internals, as well as Phillip's own theories. We also see his staff, which I did not mention in this PowerPoint, and I have just realised, even though I did a bunch of research on the staff back in August. Okay, so this is the diary we see, and the staff, obviously. Okay, so back in August, like I said, the day I was suspended, thank you very much, Twitter, for my account now being forever diary investigation mode. Thank you very much. Anyway, August 21st, 2021, Riri's stupid little notes. Okay, so we have the door. I was using Dana's art as well. And this was the point where we hadn't seen Eclipse Lake, so we didn't really know what Titan's blood looked like, so that the screen cap at the bottom is from Yesterday's Lie. So yeah, basically I was trying to remember my GCSE physics, which I have a 7, and by the way, I don't fucking know how, but I do. Trying to figure out how lock tumblers work. I was trying to figure out, like, black hole, white hole, loophole. You never really know. And yeah, the whole Palisman thing. Like a prototypes, they're both powerless. Wild magic, who knows? Okay, so when Knocking Out Whose Door came out, I did some digging, most of which have been disproven. I've said this. Islanders did become a key theme for the door, as you can see, like, here. And so I thought that using a lens with magic could somehow reflect light in a certain way, creating a bridge between the two realms. This is my main theory on how the portals work. It still kind of is. Phillip investigated black holes and white holes and wormhole shit, but this seemed to not work out and came crossed out either due to him being wrong, him getting angry, or he was driven to insanity thinking about it. Which, same, I definitely did not spend about 6 or 7 hours trying to look at this fucking... this. I was not okay back in August. We do know that a portal does exist, so it must have been made somehow, even if Phillip didn't make it. Like I said, back then we didn't know what Titan's blood was, and I assumed the green liquid was that. I was wrong. I will admit my mistakes. Okay, now in Eclipse Lake. During Eclipse Lake, we got more insight on the door and the diary. This was also the first time we saw Belos' face. He's an ugly little cunt. It's important later. Don't worry about it now. We learned what Titan's blood was, which, was a big shocker to me, considering I was completely wrong, and that it was crucial to making the portal, and that, quote-unquote, from Ida, is the most powerful source of magic on the Boiling Isles. For Phillip, he had been on the Boiling Isles for at least 5 years at this point, and he said he needed to journey back to Eclipse Lake, which implies that he had been there before, maybe for other reasons. That's not right. Maybe he'd looked there, trying to find Titan's blood, maybe for other reasons. Why do I reword this? I should just read, because now I'm getting things wrong. Maybe he looked before and was unsuccessful. Titan's blood is also the reason that he came to the Isles, linking between worlds. So it is possible that him and his brother appeared on the Isles at Eclipse Lake. Maybe. We don't really know. These are just thoughts. He also mentioned that his journey was both a success and a quote-unquote tragic failure. He was lucky to get out alive, but his companions were not. More on that later. In the diary images, 3 footsteps entered and only 1 returned. His. Not good. I feel, yeah. Also, note little Amity in the corner. She's falling. Okay, Luce's portal. So, yesterday's lie. Luce creates a portal from the knowledge from Phillip's diary, and it doesn't turn out the best. It works, but she can only be in reflected objects. This partially backs up my lens theory, as Luce did not have... She didn't have, an eye or a lens or whatever the fuck is in there. So everything was reflected backwards. She was in mirrors. So, if you don't know how lenses work, lenses take light and they flip it to create an image on the other side. So it's flipped. I'm obviously being, careful to be as simple as possible, and also if any of my science is wrong, fuck you. I have the general gist, okay? I'm backing myself with my 7 in physics, which I shouldn't do because I didn't do very well at the eye section. Okay, so also in yesterday's live we get a proper look around the human realm. We discover that there's a statue of 2 brothers, possibly. Well, actually, do we know they're brothers? I don't know, but they probably are. Possibly Phillip and his brother. And that Gravesfield was founded in 1635, which is kind of important later, kind of not. We don't really know. We also find out that 2 brothers were lured into a realm of evil by a real witch. What the fuck does a real witch mean? I don't know, it's some conspiracy theorist shit. Why do you have, a tiefling tail? No. Also, there's a bird. Kind of looks like Little Rascal. Also, we will get onto that later. Okay, Elsewhen, we're getting back up to where we are currently in the second episode of the second half of the second season. Fucking hell, that's a lot of seconds. Luce and Lilith use time pools to travel in time to try and ask Phillip questions about the portal. We see the clear rules of time travel here being one singular time stream and not a multiversal reality. This creates a time loop problem, which we see happen multiple times in the episode. Time is set and cannot be changed. Essentially, this means that time is fixed. And there's literally no way to change it, and everything has to happen the way it does, and if it doesn't, the universe will kind of break. And there is no way it can't break, because it's literally a loop. There's no way to break it. I'm sorry. Also, chrononauts are time travelers. So, yeah? Okay, time travel. Time loops. I hate time travel to my core so bad, probably because I was an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Runaways fan, but I digress. Because we only have a singular linear timeline to follow, time loops are going to be the death of us. Us being fans. No one, yeah. There have been singular time flows in TV that haven't had time loops. See Marvel's Runaway Season 3, where they just disappear because the old time loop would simply erase itself, and that is not the case here. Lilith clearly trips over her own head, and Luce and Lilith are clearly in Philip's diary. Lilith punches Philip straight in the face. Go Lilith, and causes Philip to hate witches even more. Also, Luce called herself Lazora and referenced Azora quite a bit. If Luce is the reason behind the Azora books, I will start to throw shit. And I also will kill Tokyo Pop. What? No. I'm just very sad that the Azora book isn't coming out, guys. Like, just pay people fairly. Okay, so that's the end of the diary. Now it's going to get confusing because now we're not going in chronological order. Okay, so Phillip is Belos again from the beginning. People have thought that Phillip could be Belos. The accent is there, despite having different voice actors, which were both in Elsewhere and Elsewhen. Belos's, wow, I can't spell, voice was at the end when, he kind of, yeah. The obsession with the portal, and now the reveal that Phillip also chows down on Palisman for breakfast. I love my own jokes. No, I don't. These suck. And they're very unoriginal. Wild magic is clearly destroying him. It gives him even more of a reason to treat Lilith so shittily, and even more of a reason to have an obsession with Luce because he already knows them. Belos' cape is here. It's right here. And he is following instructions to create a Grimwalker, which is important later, I promise. I keep saying that. Will it ever come back? We never know. Okay. I say that Phillip is Belos as a question because to me it seems too easy. It seems expected. And if anything this show likes to do, it is the unexpected. Something doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right, okay? Everything points to Belos being Phillip, including the fucked up nose Lilith gave him. Go Lilith. It's too simple. And I'm doubting it. Either Belos is not Phillip, and they are doing this to confuse and throw us, or something fucking huge is coming, and we should prepare for the absolute worst. Yeah, I'm serious. There's no way something this simple would be the end of things for the Owl House, and I stand by that. Also, this is probably just a design choice, but why the fuck does Phillip look more like Ida's dad, face shape-wise, than Belos of all people? I can't see much resemblance between the two, and that's what's throwing me. It could also be that I am simply overthinking things, because that's what I do. I created a fucking PowerPoint. Well, it's Google Slides, actually. Anyway. Grimwalker, let's get on to the Grimwalker. So now we're talking about everyone's favourite mentally ill 16-year-old, Hunter, in Eclipse Lake. We get a glimpse of the book of Belos' portal room. It's on the next slide. I promise I'll show it to you. With a list needed, with what is needed listed, most of which we have already seen. Golderstones to the Looking Glass Ruins. That's the thing that, Gus and Bria, whatever her name is, we're talking about. Palistrom wood from literally any episode about Palisman. Stone sleepers, which we did see in Elsewhere and Elsewhen, and Salkidomus scales, which we saw in Separate Tides, and including a bone of Ortet. Now, what is a bone of Ortet? It's a botany term. Botany is just like the scientific study of plants. When growing clones of plants, the original plant that the clones are made from are called Ortets, and to my best knowledge, a Grimwalker is a clone. It's either a direct clone or a magical form of them. So you would use a bone of the person you want to create a clone out of to create a Grimwalker. Isn't that nice? So yeah, we have Golderstones for the heart and power, Palistrom wood for keratin, stone sleeper lungs for lungs, probably, Salkidomus scales, and bone of Ortet. Why is it in caps? I don't really know. So yeah, then this stuff here, from the book, Grimwalkers age normally, or at least have a normal lifespan, and they start as a child. Why did I write fetus? I don't know. And grow up. Why is it important? Because I and many others believe that Hunter is a Grimwalker, and he has the distinct red eyes and arching nose from the diagram. Yeah. Who is he a clone of, though? What's his purpose? Yeah. Hunter, he's most likely a clone of Philip's brother. The resemblance is too much to not be a coincidence. If Phillip is Belos, maybe I will have to accept it at this point, as it holds the foundation of all my other theories. Rest in peace, me. It would make a lot more sense to why he calls Belos uncle, which is like a Zuko moment. I don't know. I do have another idea though. This one I have less evidence, but it does make more sense. Anyway, so this is the statue here of Philip and his brother. Well, that's his brother. This is Philip and his brother from the Eclipse Lake. Yeah, that's Hunter, clearly. I don't really know what happened to his face. He's scarred. He's scarred like most of... I'll get onto that, never mind. So, this is my personal favourite, which is probably also wrong, considering all of my personal favourites are always wrong, because my mind is broken. Anyway, is he a clone of a half-witch? Hunter has more witch features than Philip's brother. His brother is I believe he died at Eclipse Lake 5 years after Philip came to the human realm. It is possible that his brother had a child with a witch and a half-witch son who then died, ? Maybe, I don't know. Then Belos, Philip, or whatever brought him back as a Grimwalker for some purpose. Maybe to crack him open like one giant talisman, maybe to overtake his body for a new life since his is clearly dying. You never know. The Titan has big plans for you, and it will be such a hassle to find a replacement, is a quote from Belos in Eclipse Lake, which makes a lot of sense. He would have to grow another Grimwalker, but that raises another question. When Philip was collecting the ingredients of a Grimwalker, and when he saw the collector for the first time, the human year was around 1660 to 1670. That's roughly like 350 years ago to make a 16-year-old. Doesn't really quite work. Either there have been many failed attempts to make a Grimwalker, a missing ingredient, or many, many, many raised and dead hunters that Hunter doesn't even know about. For clone being such a simple understanding, that there's a lot of things that could have gone on here. Like we never really know. Anyway, this is a single idea. Please don't bully me for this, because this is like my most like far-fetched. Actually, no, it's not my most far-fetched. You know what is my most far-fetched? Who's a Clawthorne? Haha. In an AMA with Dana back in 2020, she said, bird-themed things are generally a Clawthorne thing, so the second I saw Hunter get a bird hunting palisman, little rascal, I'm not calling you Flapjack, sorry, I immediately started playing with the idea that Hunter could be related to the Clawthorns. Him and Ida do have similar ways of speaking too, like the bye kind of thing, you know that? Hunter's just being a bit more self-deprecating most of the time. Anyway, now if the original Hunter was a Clawthorne, or the Hunter isn't a Grimwalker, or that Hunter isn't a Grimwalker at all, then this could make sense. He could be half human, half witch, and his witch side could be related to the Clawthorns. This would explain his lack of magic. Humans aren't really on the Boiling Isles that often, so half humans and half witches they're not exactly common. He could have inherited his witch side's external features, like the ears, and not inherited a bile sac. The idea of him descending from a long line of powerless witches could just be a lie, or maybe he is a long line of powerless witches and he has been alive for 350 years and he's just like died and gone over, he's like been cloned and died multiple times. You never know. Anyway, the collector. Wow, this is when like shit goes down, because this is when I run out of energy to think, man. Okay. There's so much to think about. Are they the big bad? Are they the worse than Belos? Are they the soul of the Titan? Belos speaks with them. I'm too tired for this shit. Anyway, so this is my collector thing. I don't really know a lot about them. We don't really know a lot about them. We're probably going to find out more. Who are they? They seem ominous. It is possible that they are the quote-unquote big bad above Belos. And I have a feeling that that's something to do with the Titan. Maybe Belos believes the collector or the collector has convinced them that they are that Titan, the soul of the Titan, maybe. Or what if the Titan, quote unquote, is speaking to the collector? Wow, is speaking to Belos and is just the collector. They seem to be like a higher being, like strong, alive for a long time. Maybe they're using the time portals. Maybe they're just different collectors. What's going on? This is the one I really don't know. And I'm just going to have to wait until what other people think, because honestly, I haven't had enough time to think about this. I've had roughly, what time is it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No. Yeah, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've roughly had 17 hours to think about this. And yes, I do have to count with my fingers. You can't see that. I was going to do like a little face cam, but no, we're not going to do that. No. Anyway, Philip's companions. Philip is a horrible narrator. He lied in his diary about his companions, which also means that we can't take anything from his diary fucking seriously anymore, and that kind of undoes half of the theories. It kind of makes them a little bit less stable, but I digress. He sacrificed them to get what he wanted, and then cracked and slept them. Not them, their talisman. Judging by how many talisman he had, lots of his companions died on purpose. Clearly. I wouldn't put it past him that he purposely killed his brother. Maybe his brother found a way home. We don't know. Maybe he buried a door so he couldn't go home and then Ida tripped over it. You never know. Honestly, I'm talking about my ass about this point because I'm really tired. Also, I don't know, he's such a fat liar that he probably even made the door. He probably never even made the door. The door probably isn't his. Maybe it's just something that's been around for a long time, and maybe it's the collector's, and maybe it's older than everything. We don't know. Hang on, I have something to add back to this section. Grimwalker, because of the Palistrom wood, I kind of do believe that Hunter is basically a massive fucking talisman, and that is why I said that he could get like cracked and devoured by Belos, or maybe he's just like he just grew another body for Belos. Did I already say this? I don't actually know, but okay. So here we have the three sections, the three theory sections. We have King's shit, Belos' I swear too much, fucking hell. Belos' shit and Ida's stuff. They kind of all connected to the collector. Like Belos and Ida, they kind of brought that together, considering Ida and the Owl Beast, and King's history is very old, and so is the collector. You never know. Anyway, final note. This is not a complete list of theories in my head. My head is a mess. Probably by the way I'm talking, you can probably tell. Also, if wild magic harmed Belos after 5 years, is it possible that they could harm Luce? Maybe. Also, but Luce is very smart, and Luce is Luce, so maybe not. Gotta love her. Is there another page? No, there isn't. Anyway, I'm gonna fix these slides and upload them to Twitter on a thread, so some people don't have to listen to my stupid voice. Yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk, I guess. Theories are theories, and I had to make this to stop my brain hurting.